It's been a week since extremist settlers rampaged through the Palestinian village of Turmus Aya near Ramallah, and the residents of the West Bank village are still trying to pick up the pieces.
We're scared. I'm afraid for my children. I can't even go to work because we have to fix everything that was destroyed.
The attack started from the settlement of Shiloh here. Hundreds of people crossed that street and came here, also from the road below.
Some from here and others from there?
Yes, exactly. And there were so many of them, about 300 or 400 settlers. Some of them carried weapons. Others held sharp objects, Molotov cocktails, you name it.
At least 50 cars and 30 homes were set on fire, according to the mayor. Some were completely destroyed. That's in addition to the death of 27-year-old Omar Kotayen, who was shot in an incident that still remains largely unclear. This intersection that I'm standing in was the focal point of last week's rampage of the Palestinian village of Turmus Aya. Groups of settlers coming down this road from the direction of the settlement Shiloh, washing through the streets here like a raging river of destruction. Today, a week later, all that's left are these piles of burned cars that serve as a monument to the violence that took place here.
Why did they do this? Why did they burn everything? Why did they burn all these fields? Tens of dunams. We are peaceful people and not terrorists.
The rampage occurred a day after two Palestinian terrorists from Hamas's Izzadin al-Qassam brigades opened fire with automatic weapons inside a busy restaurant adjacent to the nearby settlement of Elit. 4 Israelis were killed in the attack: Elisha Antman, Ariel Masoud, Ofer Fairman, and Nachman Shmuel Mordov. Since then, extremist settlers have carried out a series of reprisal attacks on Palestinian villages in the area, in addition to Turmus Aya. And local Palestinians blame the IDF and the Israeli police for not doing enough to prevent the attacks, saying the attackers enjoy the support of the right-wing government. What did the army and police do during the
attack? My entire life, I've relied on the Israeli police for my security. That's according to the law. But I was so surprised to see that in this case, the police actually aimed their weapons at the Palestinians, not the settlers.
The police says it has so far arrested 12 Israelis suspected of participating in these attacks in recent days. According to the IDF, 2 of them are serving soldiers who were off duty when they participated in the attacks. On Wednesday, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant signed administrative detention orders to hold 4 Jewish extremists without charges, a practice usually applied against Palestinians. And days earlier, the heads of Israel's security agencies issued a joint condemnation of the attacks, calling them outright terror.
Terrorism and its difficult consequences bring some people to commit acts that are legally and ethically forbidden. An IDF officer who stands by when seeing an Israeli citizen planning to throw a Molotov cocktail at a Palestinian house cannot be an officer.
Mohammed Raed lives on the front line of houses on the edge of the village. He was in Ramallah at the time of the attack, but his house was full of people as they were preparing for a family wedding. As the attack began, his wife called him. Together, they have 5 children under the age of 5.
I told my wife to take everyone up to the top floor. Then she started to send me videos showing the settlers on the road right here. When I arrived, I saw this entire place filled with them.
Like Muhammad, many of the village locals have security cameras that documented much of the attack, but they say no one from the Israeli police has asked for the footage. In response, the police said that a thorough investigation is still ongoing and that it is using all means at its disposal. However, the police spokesperson refused to confirm whether this included asking locals for their CCTV footage. Meanwhile, Palestinian officials are pointing a blaming finger at the Israeli government, and some have begun spewing violent rhetoric.
Israeli settlers who enter our areas to attack us must not leave except as dead bodies. We have a responsibility and duty to provide all the means to ensure this.
But the locals here are well aware that there's no one to protect them, not the Palestinian Authority and not Israeli security forces. And so they've begun forming night watches to patrol the villages in case the extremist settlers return.
Today I'm just like hoping they don't. Like, I kind of hope they do, just so they get the feeling of what they did to us. But I'm just hoping they don't come, and every day I'm just feeling like it's like terror every day, just thinking about it.
15-year-old Muhammad Awad is from Fontana, California. Roughly 80% of locals in Tulmus Aya have American citizenship. He's visiting family in the village for the summer and arrived just a few days before last week's rampage. But since, he's taken part in these night patrols.
Sometimes we just wait for them in case they do come. That's a really smart idea, because what if they come like last time, us not knowing? Now we're realizing what's going on. Now we're blocking every single road they can come from. That's better for us, as in protection of us.